usually I have a lot to say and opinions on everything, but I was so overwhelmed in a good sense by all these women who were coming together, not to point fingers, not to find blame, but to find how can we have community and be peaceful with one another.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to listen. And Netta said how refreshing it is to hear someone who just wants to listen. And then I found out that she's Palestinian, and I got very excited and asked Shireen, do you think she would be willing to talk to me? Can I have her email? Can you get her permission? And at the same time, Netta was asking the same of Shireen. And so it just happened that we both were interested in learning more about each other and how we were both in that space together, and let's see what would come of it.
Where did your conversation start? What do you remember about that first time? And that just, let me start with you.
I don't necessarily remember the first conversation. What I remember is after seeing all the images coming out of those first few weeks of October 7th, and I also felt just like the hatred grow within me of, and having my parents having grown up in the occupied West Bank, and their only interactions with Jewish people were the soldiers in their neighborhood. And so even just as they would, growing up, as they would speak about Jews, it was the soldiers, and there wasn't another word in Arabic. It was the Yehudi and what the Yehudi would do. And so it wasn't until my adult life that I even realized that Yehudi isn't a soldier. So I knew that not only like as an adult am I now like wanting to really hate and not being able to separate the government of Israel, but the people of Israel and Jews in general, feeling that well up, and wanting revenge and destruction, also justice and vengeance. That was like my impetus for like I can't be like that. I don't have control over much, but I have control over my own self. And if I want to see Israelis and Jews extending kindness and humanity to Palestinians, well, like what I can do is do that for my fellow human beings. That is ultimately, I think, what led to me being connected with Heidi. And I do remember just from the beginning, there was an ability to be honest and to express my pain for what Israel was doing to the Palestinians. And I do remember specifically that Heidi expressed just sadness at the loss of Palestinian lives, the cardinalities, and that spoke volumes. And slowly things like that would just kind of heal that hardness that I was feeling in my heart.
Yeah. Heidi, when you're sitting down with someone and you hear Netta's pain and how it's almost been baked into her and how she's grown up and what she's been carrying for so long, on top of the immediate events that are happening on the ground, how do you not automatically get defensive? How do we begin those conversations when just that first part is so hard for people to just hear?
Yeah. Well, this is a wonderful thing to ask, and I hope that people can hear this. And like Netta mentioned, it is a challenge. It is not easy to hold both truths in one place, but that's exactly the work that we all need to do, especially people who feel so passionate and affected by this conflict who don't have skin in the game. I would ask that they too have the empathy and do this really hard work that she and I are doing together. Because if we can do this, then really anyone can. They just have to be willing to see themselves as empathetic creatures as opposed to arbiters of justice. There's a difference there.
Give me an example of some of the sensitive topics that are difficult to discuss that you have been able to talk about, knowing that what you're about to say might anger or hurt the person that's sitting across the table from you, even though that's not your interest or intent.